Alright, so let's move forward with the previous one. In the previous video, we saw how we can install Docker and we actually installed few of the images. Okay, so let's now move forward. So the first thing to begin with is let me just check what is the current status of Docker, right? So systemctl status Docker. Okay, so it is showing that the Docker is actually up and running. Okay, let me just quit it, clear it, and in order to see what are the current images which are present in my local, so I'll just need to run docker images. Okay, so as we remember earlier, we actually took a pull for Ubuntu and hello world, right? So now one more thing that I wanted to add on in addition to the Ubuntu image is about BusyBox. Okay, so BusyBox is an utility. It is not a completely operating system, but it does allow you to run few specific set of commands, right? So if you want to check where BusyBox is, so just go to Docker Hub. The URL is hub.docker.com, and here you may search for BusyBox. Okay, so yeah, let's just pull and run BusyBox. So just try docker pull BusyBox. All right, the first thing which it did, it will check whether BusyBox is present in a local. If not, that it will go to Docker Hub and will pull the image. Now let us check the image, Docker images. Okay, BusyBox is here. Okay, which in terms of comparison, in terms of size comparison, you can see the size of Ubuntu is 78. However, if you check it with BusyBox, it's 4.27 MB. Now how do we go inside BusyBox? So for that we need to pass an argument, that is docker run. We are going to run this image hyphen interactive terminal. Okay, followed by the image name, so BusyBox. Okay, all right, when I do ls, you can see I am inside the BusyBox container. Okay, and when I do cd bin, okay, and when I do ls, these are all the executables that the BusyBox provides us. So when I do echo hello from India, okay, it is printing that command. However, as I mentioned earlier, BusyBox is not in completed operating system, and in order to support my statement, I have this utility. When I do cat etc os-release, this won't get executed because there is no such file or directory present for that specific thing. Okay, now second thing is Alpine. Okay, so Alpine is actually based out of BusyBox. Okay, it is again a lighter version of Linux. You can run nearly all the commands in Alpine, but it is actually based out of Linux. Okay, so in order to prove that, we are going to go here and search for Alpine. Okay, and again we are going to take the Docker official image, and here you can see there are different sort of versions which are currently present here. Now when I say version, just remember, just let me do an exit. Okay, clear, and just let me run docker images. Okay, so when I say version, we are not actually specifying any sort of version here. It took the latest version, the latest stable version, right? So if you don't specify any version here, it will take the latest one, the stable one, right? So if you want to check what sort of versions were present here, you can just go to tags and you scroll down, you will find all the versions which were present earlier, right? Now it's time to pull the Alpine image. So just copy this command and go, I'll just go to the new terminal, and here I'll just run docker pull Alpine. Okay, it will find in the local. If not present, it will go to Docker Hub and pull the image. When I run docker images, okay, Alpine is present again. Okay, now if you see the size comparison, the size of Ubuntu image is 78.1 MB. Okay, now BusyBox, it's based off 4.27 MB. Now Alpine, which is based on BusyBox, is of 7.8 MB. Right, now it's time to go inside the Alpine. So what we will do, docker run, we are going to run this image and turn it out into a container Alpine. Okay, docker run -it Alpine. Now when I do ls, the interface is same as it was there earlier. Okay, now when I go here and I mentioned earlier, if you want to see all the currently running containers, how would you check it? You need to run docker ps, and you can see that currently Alpine has been running. Okay, there is one more thing that I wanted to show you, that is when you run docker ps-a, you can see the dead containers. And also one more thing to highlight over here is when you do docker run followed by the image name without passing any argument, we won't see any sort of changes there, right? So for example, when I do docker run let's say BusyBox. I'm not passing any argument. So what is happening here is it just executes and we are not getting any sort of results, right? But when I do ps-a, it will show that that was actually executed and it actually exited with status code 0. Okay, now what it is actually trying to say is it actually executed the sh command initially, but since there was no argument which was passed, when I say argument, it is -it interactive terminal, that's why it got exited, right? Now when you run it with docker run by passing the arguments docker run -it followed by busybox, it will get executed. And when you do ls, when you go inside when you do ls inside bin, okay, you'll see all the executables. So let me just rename this terminal for busybox. Okay, and I'll just mark it as orange, and this one will mark it as green, and this would be for alpine. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, alpine is actually based out of busybox. How do I prove it? So basically when I do ls from bin, okay, you will find entire things which are present over busybox, but also there is one more directory under busybox, okay, under that thing. So when I go inside bin, there you will find one more executable for busybox. Okay, and second thing, as I mentioned, it is a lighter version of linux. So what you can do is you can just run cat/etc and os-release, which will actually tell you the current latest stable version of alpine, right? So that is how you run in container, and how you get out of in container. Just do an exit from here and you will be out from a container. Now when you done docker ps, which will list all the running containers, okay, right now alpine is currently up and running. Okay, and now when I want to exit from here, I'll just do exit. Okay, I am just out from that container as well. When I run docker ps again, you can see there are no container up and running. Now when I want to see the dead containers, I'll just do docker ps-a. Now how would I check docker images? Docker images. Okay, so these are the docker images which are present. The main motto of this specific video was to do a slight comparison between the images size, okay, between ubuntu image, between busybox and between alpine, which is based out of busybox. Okay, so alpine is based on alpine, and busybox is a very lighter version with minimalist feature of linux, right? So yeah, that was all, and see you in the next one.